At Arizona State University, we've made online education better, smarter, and more personalized so you can go further in your aspiring field. I decided to pursue medicine once I realized that ASU did have the online program for biological sciences. You're still required to learn the same curriculum. You're still being tested on the same content that anyone would be tested on in person. The comprehensiveness of the program prepared me so well for medical school. Explore over 300 programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
We interrupt this program to bring you an important Wayfair message. Wayfair's got style tips for every home. This is Styles McKenzie helping you make those rooms sing. Today's style tip: when it comes to making a statement, treat bold patterns like neutrals. Go wild, like an untamed animal print area rug under a rustic farmhouse table from Wayfair.com. Arr, fierce. This has been your Wayfair style tip to keep those interiors superior.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Lowe's knows how to set off your July 4th with savings. Right now, buy one, get one free on select one-coat coverage interior paint via Visa gift card rebate. Plus, get two select 2 or 2.5 quart red, white, and blue annuals for just $10. Hurry, these July 4th deals won't last long. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 7/9. Selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii. More terms and restrictions apply. See Lowe's.com/rebates for more details.
If you love entertainment, current events, and Hollywood, don't miss Creator to Creators, hosted by the filmmaker Meosha, known for the Shudder hit documentary Horror Noir and the acclaimed film Anatomy of an Anti-Hero, Redemption. This show features interviews with filmmakers and creatives from around the globe. Join the fun with guest celebrities and gain valuable insights. Subscribe now and follow Creator to Creators.
Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Creators to Creators today. Today we have a special guest.
I'm Kelsi Umeko.
And I'm Curtis McGann.
Welcome, welcome. I'm so excited to talk to you guys. I love everything that you guys put out and all your work. I think it's just absolutely amazing. But I love going back to the beginning. I always say the beginning kind of charts our trajectory in life, our little habits that we pick up along the way, kind of follow us into our adulthood. Tell me a little bit about your childhood. What was that like? And kind of how did you guys find yourselves in the entertainment world?
Yeah. Well, I feel like I could echo the same thing. Like, we love you and you're a supporter of us, and we love all of the things that you put out as well. So we're really grateful to have this conversation with you today.
For sure.
You want to start?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So my childhood, I grew up in Indiana, South Bend, like right down the street from Notre Dame. And for my whole life, as far as until I was 18, my trajectory was military. I was just going to go straight into the military. And so when I was 17, I actually signed the papers to go to the National Guard. And then my dad talked me into, instead of enlisting, going to college and doing ROTC and do the officer track in college.
Nice.
So I applied for college and was like, Indiana is terrible. It's so cold. That's the reason I hated the cold, and it would be like -20 in the winter.
Oh,
So,
wow.
yeah. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go to Hawaii.
Yeah.
And I had never been to Hawaii, but I was like, this seems like a cool place to live. So I applied for school there, applied for ROTC. I got a scholarship and ended up going to school there. And then when I was there, I kind of was a wayward college student trying to figure out my own way and having no idea what was actually going on. But then in college, I met Kelsi.
That's
And
amazing.
yeah,
I can give my childhood backstory real
yeah,
quick. So I was born and raised in Seattle, Washington. That's where we are at right now,
Nice.
living currently. But I was a gymnast growing up. So I basically started doing gymnastics when I was 2 years old. And then by the time I was in middle school, I was a level 10 gymnast, and I was like traveling internationally. And so it was
Wow.
kind of just like this all-consuming sport that I loved. And then like when I was going through like puberty, I got depressed. And so I kind of just like stopped doing like everything that I loved, and gymnastics was one of those things. And then when I came out of the depression, I tried to restart up gymnastics again, but it is such a physical and mental sport that it was so hard to get back into it at the level that I was at it after taking time away. So I transitioned into competitive cheerleading.
Oh,
I
nice.
ran into a girl that I used to do gymnastics with randomly while I was shopping, and she was like, "Hey, Kelsi, can you still tumble?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course." Like our cheer team is going to nationals in Florida, which is like across the country for me.
Yeah.
Um, next week, can you be our tumbler? And I'm like, yeah. So, anyways, I stumbled into this competitive cheerleading world. I ended up getting a scholarship to cheerlead at University of Hawaii, which
Nice.
at the time was like one of the top colleges. I think it still is. I'm not sure for cheerleading. So, I went and I was studying to be a dental hygienist,
Oh,
and then that's kind of when our stories collide. I
that's
had
amazing.
just left University of Hawaii. And then that following year, Kurt went to University of Hawaii as a freshman.
She's a cougar.
I'm 2 years older than him. But one of my cheer friends started dating one of his football friends. And I think it was his football friend, Spencer, that added me on Facebook. And I was like, who is this? Like, who's this guy? And they had just had a party. And so Kurt was in all of his photos. And I'm like, this is the hottest man I've ever seen in my entire life. So I went to click on Kurt's profile, so I could just like, stalk him as he likes to say. And
I love it.
yeah, and I had to be his friend, so I just was like, I mean, I
Yeah,
went to Hawaii, he's at University of Hawaii, send him a friend request, and then yeah, you DM'd me, and then about
I'm letting you go because you're kind of embarrassed while saying it. So.
I love it.
like he DMs me, asks me how I know him, I make up a story, and then we start talking long distance. Now I'm back in Seattle at the time. He's in Hawaii, and we're just like talking long distance for about a month. And then within a month, he's like, I think you're the one. I'll know for
Oh.
sure when I meet you. And I'm like, I feel the same way. This is crazy. And then yeah, that was like what,
I was 19, so that was
ancient years ago.
some years ago.
Wow. Wow, that's beautiful. I think that's so awesome. Just how, and then now you guys also create together. I think that's even more brilliant. Which I think that's such like the best duo. Uh,
Yeah.
when did you guys get into I mean, acting together and collaborating? Because I feel like a lot of people can, well, some people can't do it, who are married, but then it's great for some people. So when did that happen?
Well, it definitely wasn't easy at first, but so I started doing I was kind of in theater and stuff in high school. And it was fun, and I made some videos with my friends and whatnot. And I was
Nice.
like, oh, this is fun, but I never thought of it as like an actual potential career.
Mm.
Uh, and then I watched my dad had like this job that he hated. And he's telling me at the same time, he's like, no, you got to find your job and you got to stick to it. And I'm like, yeah, but why would I do that? You hate your job. Awful.
Yeah, you're like, I don't want to be 60
Right.
years, like 40 years of my life.
Yeah. And
Exactly.
so
Exactly.
for me, every job that I tried, I'm like, I can't really see myself doing this for 20 years, for 10 years. So I would switch to a different job and find something else. And then eventually, I started doing more acting and just doing more like student films and just for fun. I was like, okay, this is fun. I want to have this creative outlet. And so I started doing that here in Seattle. Um, and then eventually got to the point where I was working so much in film, and starting to make more money in film than I was in my normal job.
Oh, wow.
And then also convinced Kelsi to come and do it too. It was like, hey, you should do this. I know you would love it because she did stuff when she was a kid too.
Yeah,
Nice.
for me, I actually did go the dental hygiene route. So I was working as a dental hygienist and I loved that career.
Yeah.
After having our first son, who is now 11, my hands got so messed up I couldn't go back to work. So I got carpal tunnel and I got de Quervain's, which is like it just like kind of like messes up your muscles in your hands, which is
Yeah.
what a dental hygienist needs. So I was at home, and then my aunt, who is now our agent, was like, I'm gonna start submitting you to jobs. And I was like, oh, that sounds scary, you know. As a kid, I always wanted to like do acting and modeling and stuff. And then I did some stuff when I was little, and then I developed like this huge fear of like the camera.
Really?
And then gymnastics kind of took off, and I had no time for anything else. But then, yeah, when I started, my aunt started submitting me for things, and I feel like it was just mostly commercial stuff that I started submitting for at first. And and I feel like companies were just really more intentional about hiring people from the BIPOC community,
Mm.
not just like that's when commercials started to change, as far as like what you saw on TV,
Yeah.
and people became more intentional with that representation. And that's kind of like the window into which I started this career, and I started working just like full time,
I
kind
love
of
it.
right away in the commercial world, and I loved it. And then, yeah, we work a lot as a family, which is like for commercials, it's just so much fun because you're just like playing on set,
How is that market and where you guys are? Because I've never actually got into the film world there where you guys are located. Was it kind of hard to, I mean, is the community pretty big there as far as like acting and
The community is small here.
oh,
But granted, I also feel like the community is small in LA too, because I'll meet somebody and that person knows this person. We've worked together over here. So,
yep.
but I mean, it's pretty tight here, and there's not a lot of union work that comes through here. And then the work that does come through, it is a lot of commercial because we have a lot of the corporations
Okay.
like Microsoft, Amazon, T-Mobile. So there's a big benefit with having all of those is we get to do a lot of work with them.
Nice, nice.
yeah, commercially you'll stay pretty busy. So, and
That's
because
good.
it is such a small world, like our family a lot of times doesn't have to like necessarily audition for jobs. Like sometimes people will just be
Oh,
like, hey, are they available for this? Or people will directly reach out to us, are you
oh, that's
available for
the
this
best,
job? Which
Yeah.
is so nice. And I feel
right?
like that doesn't happen in LA.
I hate auditioning. I still hate it. Like it's the worst. I don't think I ever will get over it. I just don't like, going there. But I love those jobs when I was like, oh, this is you want it? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, but it was at the beginning very difficult to work together in just like trying to find our own selves in our like as actors, but also trying to help each other. And
yeah.
it's like, no, don't direct me. I know what I'm doing. It's like, well, you don't even know what we were doing. And so we were just trying to figure that out. And so that's where I feel like it was difficult at first, but once we were able to work together and kind of work through that and
Yeah.
understand the way that each other works, now it's very easy to work together. And I mean, it's been like that for years,
I
but
love that. And
I
I
was
can
gonna say,
see it. I can see that. It looks like it's so like it just flows so well. Like it's like wow. So cool.
yeah.
I was gonna say, like when you said that, I'm like, I don't remember it ever being difficult. But yeah, there was like a time where I think I was going to classes or something. And obviously, I like directing. Who better to direct than Kurt? But I feel like commercially, it's like always been super chill.
Yeah.
Um, it's so fun though. I love like producing with Kurt and doing any projects with him because I feel like he's already like my best and strongest like teammate in life
Oh,
and supporter. And so like I feel like our weaknesses and strengths are like each other's like opposites, so it just works out. It's like he's my missing puzzle.
I love that.
I feel
And
like a cool producer.
right. And I love that you guys did a feature film together. I mean, that's pretty amazing. Can you talk to me about that? What did that come from? And, how was that make the process of making that together?
Yeah, so it was our second feature film. The first one that we made was the horror film with Alex, who is
Yeah, you
our
know, that's
mutual
right. Yeah.
friend.
Yeah, it's like, whoa, what? Small world.
Yeah.
Small
But that
world.
had very like that one was like minimal dialogue, minimal like planning. It was so
We shot the whole thing in 5 days.
yeah.
Like
Whoa.
Yeah.
it was, yeah.
This feature film, Second Chance, our romantic drama, is
Yeah.
it's a faith-based film. I'm in a few prayer groups, and I was having ladies pray specifically over telling stories that would glorify God and
Mhm.
like bring people hope in a hurting world. Like, and so that I think I asked for that prayer request, and about like maybe 2 weeks later, I'm laying in bed, about to go to bed, and all of a sudden this story idea comes to me, like a feature film idea. I pull out my iPhone because I'm literally laying in bed about to go to sleep. Pull out
Yeah.
my iPhone and I just start typing it out as it's like coming to me.
Wow.
And after about probably, I don't know, like 2 or 3 hours, I had the full feature film typed out in
Wow.
an iPhone note
That's
with
amazing.
dialogue, everything. And then we, reworked that into like, proper strip format.
Love it.
But yeah, that's how the story idea came. And it's a redemption love story. So yeah.
Oh,
But through the process of it, it was definitely from Kelsi writing it, we then created a sizzle reel essentially to the idea was I wanted to try to sell it before we made it, so
yeah.
that way somebody would read it.
Yeah.
That
Yes.
didn't happen, but we ended up funding it ourselves.
That's amazing.
Which
Wow.
we were scared about it, trepidatious about it at first, but God fully came through and provided everything that we needed throughout the entire process.
We were kind of like waiting for this like magical investor, and we know how God works. Like God sometimes works like literally up to the clincher point. Like
Yes.
it's like the week of, right? When you know.
Yep.
And so and I really did feel like his spirit was like, make it this year. Like you need to make this film this year. And in the fall was when I felt like it was like the time to make it. And Kurt was like, maybe we just wait, until next year and we like raise money. And I'm like, no, I feel like it has to happen this year. Like I feel like God's like, this year, you have to do it. So yeah, we both felt though that God was like, just take that next step forward. The investor never came.
Hmm.
And I feel like he was like, just take that next step, and I'm just going to continue to like supply your needs along the way. And so that's what we did. And God like showed up in like the craziest ways. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
But the process was fun.
Mhm.
Man.
We, you know, our church let us use their location, which was pretty
Oh,
incredible because we were able to take the church and use it as a church. They have a basement, and so we use the basement as my apartment. And
nice.
so we were gonna change it, like just set design it to be that. We took one of the rooms in the church and made it the children's ministry room, and then also
Awesome.
made it a hospital room.
Yeah.
Um, and so it was fun trying to like look at all of these things and say, okay, well, what can we just bring in easily
Hmm.
to make it and change it?
Yeah.
And then even in that, God provided everything too, like to make the hospital bed. I'm like, man, we need a bed that, raises up and all this. And then I'm looking on Facebook Marketplace, and then somebody's like, here's a free bed that raises. I'm like,
Yeah.
like,
Isn't that like the ultimate like thing about like how God works? It's like faith. Like when you're, especially when you're in prayer, like God build my faith, and He'll send you something to like that builds your faith. You're like, oh, right, 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 right. And it's
yep,
Yeah.
amazing how God works. It's so cool. That's amazing. And
Yeah.
also the trait, like I gotta say, when I saw it, I was like, wow, it looks incredible. Like the camera, the just all of it looks, I was like, wow,
thank
very,
you.
very cool. Very cool. So congratulations on successfully
Yeah.
pulling it off. A lot of people don't.
Yeah, thank you so much. Oh, there were many nights of just like tears and then like, can I do this? Like,
Absolutely.
God help me.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
Mountain. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
love
then
that.
even post, I mean, post took forever.
Oh, Post was, yeah.
Did you
Post
edit
was
yourself?
my
Well, she did with a friend of ours who edits.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's really cool. I have a fun question that I love asking everyone on the show, and there's no wrong answer. but the three levels of influence: money, power, and respect. And if you could choose only one of those things, which one would you choose and why?
Personally, probably respect because money and power are fickle.
Mhm.
Um, and respect is actually something that is comes from your character.
Yeah.
And I feel like you gain so much more in just like relationships and things like that and friendships and whatnot if you have respect. And I feel like friendships and love from that, excuse me,
Getting
friendships
choked
and yeah,
up.
right. I feel like friendships and love from like friends and family and things like that is so much more important to me than finances or anything like that. And so that's why I think respect.
That's a
I
good
would I
answer.
was gonna pick respect as well because
What I already picked it, you can't pick it.
we're similar. Like money like comes and goes, like power. I feel like those types of influence that you can have through those ways,
Yeah.
you might not gain as many like genuine relationships, whereas like respect is earned, respect you can give, and it's something that I feel like most people desire to be respected, you know? So that's something that I can easily like give to someone is my respect to them and that's like a a deeper way of like showing that I love and care for you versus just like having power over someone, you know, and
It's
that type of
interesting
thing.
to say that because I think that respect is like the ultimate goal for even money, power, and all of that. Like respect is the ultimate goal that people want power and people want money because ultimately they want respect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a great answer. Great answer. I love that. Yeah, I love it. I love asking a question. And it's so funny. Everyone's like, is this a trick question? I'm like, no, there's no, whatever you want it to be. Whatever you want it to be.
I feel like the first two also could corrupt you a little bit, you know, if you're not really like foundationally like you know, you see Solomon.
Yeah,
He
right.
was like such a godly man, but then like power, money, all the things came and kind of, you know, drew him away from the prize.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you guys feel like the industry is embracing more like Christian films and just not I mean I've seen I remember growing up watching a lot of like Christian movies. I'm a PK kid, pastor's preacher's kid. So a lot of the films that we would watch were very kind of, for lack of a better term, wasn't that exciting. And I was like, this is what Christian films are.
Yeah,
But like,
right.
it was very boring, but now I just feel like there's like what you guys did with the film and with that, putting faith and also all these other elements to it, which makes it exciting and palatable for people that are not believers to receive it and not fall asleep. So do you feel like it's changing for the better? Because I feel like Christian films were not given the, I don't know, time of
I
day.
always think the same thing. I'm like, if God is giving us all of this talent, why do our films look like this?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yes.
But yeah, I 100% think that it's changing. Even right after we did our film, like the day after, I started on another film, which was
Okay.
a feature, and I was acting in it. And it was an action feature with like all of the action pieces. I mean, I'm jumping off of cliffs, fight scenes, I'm getting shot, like all of this. But it's a Christian film and has a
Wow.
Christian message. And I'm like, okay, this is really cool and something that is starting to even more so like blend those ideas of Christian film doesn't just have to be this one specific thing that we were always taught.
I
Yeah.
think too, like there's an audience for it,
Hmm.
and like that helps Christian filmmakers because when you have the audience and you have the distribution and all the things that follow. So that's been really cool that just like people are desiring to see, you know, faith-based films, faith-based projects. So that's really cool. And then also, yeah, I feel like people want real stories, not like yeah, you know, like your walk with Christ, where you came from, sometimes the pits are like the most beautiful redemption stories if you show them, you know. So I think like there is something to be said about people trying to tell more like authentic, genuine stories and not just try and keep it like here, you know, for the Christian audience, but to reach, you know, the secular world and reach people that may not know, that type of message, so.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. So I read too that you're deacon for a youth group. That's pretty amazing. Holy crap. I was like, whoa.
I'm a deacon at our church,
That's
and then
awesome.
I lead our youth group at our church.
That's pretty cool. I bet they know that you act as well. I bet they're like, wow, you're so cool. You're a cool deacon.
I don't know. They do know that I act and stuff, but yeah, they're such great kids. They wanted to start a film group because they
Nice.
also like, I want to tell stories that glorify God and in filmmaking. And I'm like, I can lead this film group. Or actually, no, I was like, you guys lead it and I'll just like facilitate and help support it, so but yeah, I love our youth kids at our church, and deacon just basically means like, servant, and I love serving, like I have a heart of service, and so yeah, I'm like, deacon, what does that mean? Did I research
it? Sounds so, I don't know.
I know, it sounds so like authoritative or something. I'm a deacon.
Right, exactly.
But no, it just means you're like, serving.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
How do you guys balance, with all the things that you guys do? You have a family. How does one like yourself balance all that and the creative world at the same time? That's pretty incredible.
I hide all my gray hairs.
Kurt just started writing and producing this incredible series called The God Keep. And so it's on YouTube.
Awesome.
They're building this YouTube channel, and they're releasing one short film
a week and one episode a week.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's actually, again, with Alex.
Hey, Alex.
Yep. So, yeah, but basically that I've had to figure out, time management much, much better than before. And also too, it is insanely difficult for working at home when you're trying to actually have thoughts.
Because we homeschool.
And the kids are just like,
oh, okay.
So I've had to just find a different place. Like I'll go to a cafe and write and do most of my production and stuff there.
But he's doing like 20 pages of writing a day. So he's writing about like one short film a day or an episode a day. So yeah, it does require a lot more. So we just have to like adjust anytime there's like a new like busy season that we're not used to. We have to like learn how to like adjust, make sure that God stays first in all the things that we do. Because I think what can so easily happen is when you get busy with like life stuff, even though it's God glorifying, sometimes you like make that your number one and then all the things fall apart underneath it. So we found that like as long as we're like really making sure that God is first and he's the center of our marriage and our family and our lives, then like he will help us to like time management and connect and make connection points like along the way. But yeah, but it's busy because we are homeschooling our 11-year-old who is now in middle school, and then we have our 4-year-old, and but yeah, it's
I barely remember. I mean, I don't have any kids. Never been married. But I can barely. Sometimes I'm like, can't even remember. Like I'm like, what am I gonna do? Oh yeah, today's Tuesday, right? So it's amazing. It's amazing.
I have those moments all the time.
I love it. Are you guys working on anything coming up that we should be looking out for?
So I do have the God Keep series, which is we're releasing weekly YouTube series.
All right.
And then, I also just booked recently it's going to be a feature, but we're going to do the pilot first. It's a sci-fi one that we're shooting down in California.
Ooh.
I'm super stoked about that one because that one's going to be a lot of fun.
It looks so dope.
I can't wait. Sci-fi. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's called Nemesis.
Ooh.
Yeah, and then you have My Face coming out, which is that feature film.
Yep. Yeah, my face.
My face coming out.
Yeah, so no, that feature film's coming out. We're finishing that up with ADR actually at the end of this month.
Awesome.
Um, and that should be out next year. I did a Netflix movie I just had a small part in that, and that should be out next year. And we
Congrats.
also distribution. Thank you. We also just got distribution for Second Chance.
Hey, let's
Yeah,
go. That's
Yeah.
so
exciting.
we're working on all the details of that. We had kind of got it like right before the Christmas break holiday,
Okay.
and so now that we're coming back into it, we'll start figuring out all those details and whatnot.
That's
Yeah.
exciting.
And then I'm still hosting the show for Pokemon called Beyond the Pokedex, which is on
Yes.
YouTube. And then Kurt's YouTube series. There's kind of like a bundle of things. But yeah, Kurt's YouTube series called The God Keep. Yeah.
Well, you're doing a film down in California too.
Oh yeah, I'm doing a film. I'll be in LA. It's a short film called Yokai.
Oh,
Um, that will be filming at the end of February. So I'll be in LA.
oh,
Yeah.
cool. Awesome. Lots of great things coming. I love hearing that. That's exciting. Great year ahead, huh?
Yeah.
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 Awesome. Yeah, this year feels really good, like a great year. Like it feels really good. And I didn't make any New Year's resolutions or anything like that. My friend was like, "What are you looking forward to?" I'm just like, it's a new year, but just more work, it's just more opportunity.
Yeah.
That's it,
You have a
really.
big project coming out too.
Yeah, I'm excited about that one. I'm stoked. That's gonna be really fun. My first, I guess if you will, well, not first, my second, if you will, like a Christian-based kind of, faith-based project. Very, very excited about it. But I think people are
Yeah,
gonna love it and hate it at the same time.
we're excited for that
Because it's
too.
not-
Yes, for you.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Thank you. I'm excited about it though. It's gonna be great. Really quick, what advice would you give to up and coming artists that want to get into this business?
Me.
Sure.
Okay. Uh, I think just like find your people, like find your people that are going to be there to support you, along the way. You guys can all encourage one another because the industry comes with like so many ups and downs and so many like unknown areas if you're new, like um you can get taken advantage of really easily. I feel like in our industry because there's so many, filmmakers that, not everyone's good, or good-hearted, I should say.
Yeah.
So to just really find people that are going to be like your people that you can encourage, check in on. Um, and then, I mean, I love classes because I feel like that's where you meet a lot of people that have been in the industry for a while that can be kind of like mentors, but then you also meet those newcomers that it's fun because like I see like a lot of the people that I was in classes with when we lived in LA are now like series regulars on TV shows. So it's just
Yeah.
really cool to see your friends just like grow and to be someone that's been an encourager along the way to like, you're all like rooting for each other.
Yeah, that's good. I love
Yeah.
that. Love
Yeah. For me, I think the on top of that is finding your tribe because that's very important, is also to just keep going. I mean,
Mhm.
there's so many times where like our industry is so up and down where you'll be working all the time and then you'll be working nothing and it'll be dry. It's but when those times come, there's always something that we can do. Either we can create on our own, we can do something else, but I think part of what's really cool about our industry and where we are in being creatives is that we get to always learn. And so if we ever stop learning and if we ever stop growing, I feel like that's where we're going to fall. And so for me, I'm trying to learn guitar. I'm trying to learn, I can't sing, but I'm trying to learn how to sing. I'm
I
like,
like your singing.
Hey.
um, but then, learned when we were in the pandemic, I built a voiceover studio and learned how to do voiceover and learned how to edit all that just because I think that it's important to be able to just keep expanding
Mhm.
and
Not being afraid to try
yeah,
something new.
not
Yeah.
being afraid to fail because each failure you learn something and so learn
Yeah,
from that and keep going.
that's so true. Well, I have a really quick question. And it's very like a bonus question, really quick. If you could have a coffee date with anybody, living or dead, who would it be and why?
Living or dead.
Yeah, anybody in the entertainment world.
Oh, in the entertainment world.
Yeah, anyone.
Oh man.
Okay, I would like to hang out with Jake Gyllenhaal
Hey,
because
me. Oh my God, you have no idea. I love this man. I always like jokingly say, I'm like, if I run into him and he's single, that would be my husband. Like, call me. So much. That's funny.
Yeah, I love his acting. I love his thoughts on things, and just the way that he approaches characters and all that. I think it'd be really, and he also seems like a really cool dude. So it
Yeah,
seems like
right?
it'd be a very entertaining, but also informative, and I mean, we could be friends.
Right. Jake.
Yeah, call me.
In that regard, then maybe like Denzel Washington. I just like watched an interview on him. I know he's like super like strong in his faith, and like to meet with him, learn from him, be like, let's make a film together.
Yes.
Denzel.
That's a really good one. I ran into him at a coffee shop some years ago. It was at like one morning at this place on like right on like Fairfax and Pico. And I walked in and he was at the table just sitting down at the front. And I walked over and I was ordering my coffee and I looked over and I was like, holy crap, it's Denzel Washington. And I said, good morning, and he was like, he was reading his newspaper, drinking his coffee. He's like, good morning, how are you? I'm like, I'm really good. I didn't know. It was just like, what do you say? But he was so lovely and he's just a good guy. Like he really is. Really is. That's cool. Great answers, guys. Great. Thank you so much for coming on. This was so fun.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah.
Talk with you and chat. And
Absolutely.
yeah, thanks for having us.
Yes, my pleasure. Where can people find you really quick on social media to follow everything you have going on?
Instagram, Kelsi Umeko, KELSIUMEKO.
And mine's Instagram. That's kind of the only one I have. It's Curtis McGann. I could spell it, but you wouldn't remember it anyway. So
I'll have it in the description box.
And then like if you like faith-based projects or are supportive of that, like the God Keep is doing like a really great job at, telling authentic stories that I think people can really relate to. So even more so, it's just like if you need like an encouraging lift or a hope message or, find the God Keep at YouTube.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, thank you again. I appreciate your time. This was such a great time. And thank you all for listening. And always remember to live, love, laugh. We'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.